gathering a means of our entry into Jannah, inshallah. Before I say anything about Halloween, I want to express my opinion. I want to tell all of you that this issue is a legitimate area of ikhtilaf and ijtihad. So even though I follow a particular school of thought, I follow a certain opinion, and probably you all follow a particular school of thought, or you follow a certain opinion, before we say anything, we need to understand and realize that the usul of our deen, the principles of our deen, allow various people of ijtihad to reach different kind of opinions, and sometimes these opinions are contradictory to each other. So even though I am following a particular school of thought, you are following a particular school of thought, I am following a certain opinion, but we all need to understand and realize, and we all need to understand and respect other opinions, and we need to tolerate other opinions, because these other opinions are also coming from religious authorities, and whatever they are deciding within the premises of Sharia. Having said that, generally speaking, there are three kinds of different celebrations. There are celebrations that are inherently not religious. These celebrations are not inherently religious, meaning that these celebrations or these festivals are not celebrated because people want to worship some god, or people want to worship some kind of false god or some kind of false idols. So in these kinds of celebrations that are not inherently religious, it is permissible for a Muslim to go and participate in them. So for example, a Muslim can commemorate days such as a national day, or such as a personal milestone day. These kinds of days, which does not involve any kind of religious component, these are kinds of celebration, are those celebrations which is permissible for a Muslim to go and celebrate. Then there are celebrations that are inherently religious. They are intended to commemorate false gods or to worship false gods. These kinds of celebration, of course, and obviously they are not allowed for Muslims to celebrate such kind of festivals or celebrate such kind of celebrations. So for example, Christmas, Diwali, Easter, these kinds of holidays, we Muslims, we cannot follow these holidays and we cannot observe these kinds of celebrations. Finally, there are some celebrations that are not very clear. They are ambiguous in their nature, and you cannot categorize them very easily. These are some kind of celebrations which has elements of false religion. But at the same time, these elements are unknown and absent to the vast majority of the people who celebrate it. And at the end of the day, the origin of a festival, according to Islamic principles I'm talking about, and these are the principles that we all agreed upon. So it's not like a Hanafi fiqh or a Shafi fiqh or a Maliki fiqh. The thing that I'm telling you right now, the thing that I'm sharing with you, all fuqaha agreed upon these principles. According to Islamic principles, the origin of a festival is important. But what is even more important to decide that whether it is permissible or not is how people perceive it when they celebrate it. So the origin is important, but even the more critical thing is what? The understanding of the people about that particular celebration. Let me give you an example. The Desi people can understand this example. We have a celebration in our Desi weddings. We have a celebration that is called Mehndi. Mehndi is a celebration, yeah? In every Desi wedding, you will have that celebration that is called Mehndi, where people get together and they celebrate this thing for bride and groom and everything. Now this celebration, even though originally it is a Hindu ritual, but still it's permissible for you to go and participate in it, as long as it does not involve any kind of haram activities. Do you know what I mean? Mehndi, originally speaking, this festival, originally speaking, it's a Hindu ritual. But if someone, I'm talking about a fatwa here, not a taqwa here. If someone comes to your house, invites you to come and participate in that wedding gathering, which is called Mehndi, are you allowed to go to that wedding gathering? Yes, you are. But obviously, if that wedding gathering involves some kind of dancing or music or a mixed gathering, then not only that wedding gathering, the sunnah gathering, which is a walima, if even a walima involves that kind of haram activities, you should avoid it. So I'm not talking about the gathering, I'm not talking about the activities that are taking place in that particular gathering, I'm talking about the gathering itself. So the gathering of Mehndi, even though originally it's a Hindu ritual, but you are allowed to go and participate in it as long as there is a condition, as long as it does not involve haram kind of activities. Having said that, I understand that some jurists, some scholars, they are of the view that even though Halloween has pagan roots, but at the same time today, when people go and celebrate it, their understanding and their intention does not involve any kind of religiosity. That's why you will see kids most of the time, when they dress up as actors or cartoon characters, for example, Spider-Man or Thor or whatever. So they dress up as more like cartoon characters than evil spirits or witches or this kind of stuff. So that's why some of the jurists, they are of the opinion, because Halloween has lost its religious component, that's why it's permissible to celebrate Halloween. Because how people perceive it today is different than how people used to perceive it 2000 years ago. I respectfully do not agree with this opinion. And I do not agree with this opinion because I'm going to give you my reasons. I hope that you will understand these opinions, or you will understand these reasons. I'm not here to convince anyone. I'm just here to academically present what opinion I hold and what I think is the most is the best opinion, or is the most cautious opinion. Halloween, understanding Halloween, in terms of understanding Halloween, it's not a very complicated issue. It's a very easy issue. But I want to tie it into why and how it is not permissible in Islam. Halloween is a pagan festival. It started off in paganism. It is one of the oldest celebrations that the world knows today. Oldest celebration. It is even older than Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. It is one of the oldest celebrations that Bani Adam, human beings, celebrates today. People have been celebrating this festival for over 2,000 years. For over 2,000 years, it's been on the scene. It comes from the Celtic people of North. They are also called Druids. And these people, they live in Ireland, some parts of Britain, some northern parts of Europe. And they used to call this celebration Samhain, not Halloween, Samhain. And this was the celebration of the dead spirits. They used to believe, and they used to hold this festival. It's important for us to know this point. They used to hold this festival just before the end of harvest period. You know, when people harvest their fields, just before the end of harvest period, they used to hold this festival. Why? This festival is a celebration of evil spirits. And these people, they used to believe in crazy things about dead people, that these dead people, they can come and harm you. So if you do something evil to someone, and especially if they die, whether you know it or not, on this night they can come back and they can harm you. So that's why these people used to disguise themselves. They used to wear costumes and they used to wear masks. That's from where the mask comes from. They used to wear masks because they used to believe when they will come to harm us, and if we are wearing some kind of costume or mask, they would not know who we are. So they won't be able to harm us. That's from where the costume and mask come from. One another issue that probably not many of you know about it, is that on this particular date, they used to do something else. On the 31st of this month, according to them, 31st of this month is the last day of their calendar. The next day is the first day of their new year calendar. So 31st of this month is the last day of their calendar. And they used to think and they used to believe that the nabatat of this world, the harvest of this earth, of this world, these evil spirits had something to do with this harvest growing up or not growing up. These evil spirits had something to do with the babies of our animals coming out or not coming out. These evil spirits had something to do with our babies of human beings, coming out all well and healthy or coming out not okay. And as a result of all of these beliefs, on this particular night, they used to be very scared and they used to be very nervous. So in order to show their dedication and in order to show their love to evil spirits, what they would do, they would make this huge and big bonfire. And they would dance around this bonfire. And they would slaughter animals and throw them into the fire. Sometimes they would give human sacrifices to this fire. And they are throwing all this food into the fire. Why? So when the evil spirits would come, they could take their food and they won't harm us. They would take their food and they won't harm us. A Muslim doesn't know that. Just like we Muslims don't know where the Christmas tree is coming from. What does a Christmas tree have to do with Isa alayhi salatu wasalam being born? A Christmas tree has nothing to do with the birth of Jesus Christ. It has nothing to do, but we don't understand that. Just like in the case of Christmas, just like some Christians, they borrow pagan practices and introduce Christmas into Christianity. Similarly, they did the same thing in Halloween. It was a pagan festival. They borrowed this practice to impress the people from Roman Empire. They were pagans. They were the early pagans, and they wanted to impress them, and they wanted to bring them into Christianity. So in order to make them happy, they follow and they borrow this practice of them and bring them into Christianity. That was their religion. And I'm not discussing about their, but that was their religion. Now, this fire that they used to burn, it's a symbolic now, it's a symbol now. After a number of years, the same fire is symbolized in what? What do you call it? Jack-o'-lantern? The pumpkin which has candles in it? This is a symbol of the fire back then. This fire, the bonfire that they have to do. Now this pumpkin comes from America, by the way. It doesn't come from the Celtic people. Celtic people during that time, they used to have a tulip. Those of you who know tulip, the flower, tulip, they used to have that tulip at that time. They used to burn fire in that tulip. Something about that tulip, and they used to... The Americans, they hijacked the celebration, and then they introduced this pumpkin in order to make it more commercial. Similarly, trick-or-treat. Trick-or-treat is not coming from Halloween. It's an American thing. It's solely and only American thing to make it into money-making thing. That's it. The people, as far as the people who first started celebrating this festival, as far as they are concerned, they used to call it All Hallows Eve. That's what they used to call it. All Hallows Eve. Then they shortened it to Halloween. And just like I said before, they used to have this big bonfire. They used to light this big bonfire. And on that particular day, when they would light big bonfire, they would also leave their doors open. And they would put some food outside of their door. Some candies, sweets, cakes, treat, some kind of food outside of their door. Why? Because they used to believe that there are two kinds of spirits. Good spirits and evil spirits. And they used to believe that evil spirits would come to harm us, but they would take their food and they would leave us. And they won't harm us. This is what Halloween is. Nothing more, nothing less. If you don't believe me, go back home and Google Halloween or look at Wikipedia, and this is the information. Yes, different people do different things. So German people do different things, people from Norway do different things, people from America do different things, and this is their religion. They take and they add according to what suits their flavor or what suits their needs. But this is Halloween. As far as the symbolism is concerned, there are many symbols, I understand. There are bats, there are gravestones, there are witch, broom, blood, spiders, all this kind of stuff. All of these things, they are symbols, they have their origin, but originally speaking, it has nothing to do with anything that makes sense. This is Halloween. Now, I want to ask you a question as a Muslim. Halloween is based on what? Whatever comes out of the ground, it comes out of the ground as a result of what? Evil spirits. That's what Halloween based on. Halloween based on the idea that evil spirits can come back on this night and they can harm you. So you have to do all these kinds of different things to protect yourself from their shar, to protect yourself from their harm. You have to do all these kinds of things. As a Muslim, I want to ask you a question now. We as Muslims believe, who causes things to come out of the ground? Allah. Allah mentioned it over and over again in the Quran, in many ayat. We also believe that when we die, on the day of judgment, Allah will also cause us to come out of the ground. Minha khalaqnakum wa fiha nu'idukum wa minha nukhrijukum taratan. We are going to make you come out of the ground. So Allah will make us come out of the ground as well. So Allah is the one who caused everything and everyone to come out of the ground. As a Muslim, this is what I believe. As a Muslim, if I were to go to someone in Islam who is dead, he's already dead. I go to him and I make dua to him. Even if it's Prophet Muhammad sallallahu, I would go to the grave of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I would say to Prophet Muhammad, Ya Rasulullah, make this plant grow. Is it permissible in Islam or not permissible? I'm saying to Rasulullah, I'm not saying to evil spirit. I am saying to Prophet Muhammad, he's dead in his grave, he's alive in his grave, according to us all Anbiya are alive in their graves, but he has left this dunya. Physically he has left this dunya. So I go to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and I say to Prophet, Ya Rasulullah, make this plant, cause this plant to come out of the ground. Is it permissible or not permissible? It's as simple as that. It's not permissible. What about taking this idea from someone who is not even a Muslim? Making a dua to someone who is not even a Muslim. Number one, why it's not. This is my number one reason. I'm going to give you more two reasons and then I'm done, inshallah. Number one reason, that's why it's unacceptable. Number one. Number two, a man came to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, authentic narration, you'll find it in all the books of hadith. A person came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, Ya Rasulullah, I have made an oath to Allah subhanahu. I made an oath to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I will sacrifice my camel if Allah did this for me or that for me before I became Muslim. So before I became Muslim, I made an oath to Allah that I will sacrifice my camel, I will slaughter my camel for you if you do this for me or do that for me. But I will sacrifice my camel in the place called Buwana. In the place called Buwana. I made this oath to Allah before I became Muslim. Now I am a Muslim. Allah did all what I wanted Him to do for me. Should I go ahead and fulfill my oath? Prophet ﷺ said, is that place Buwana, is that a place where they have idols? Where people worship idols? And he said, no. And then he said, is Buwana a place where people have their own celebrations? And he said, no. Prophet ﷺ said, in this case, you can go ahead and fulfill your oath. Which means that if that person had said that yes, Buwana is a place where they have their idols, they have a cross, they have a symbol that they worship, a rock or a stone or a tree, and they worship that symbol, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ would have definitely told him, not go there. Do not fulfill your oath there. If that person had said, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, yes, they don't have their own idols, but they have their own celebrations. They do some kind of celebration. In that area, they sacrifice things. They do bonfire. In that area, they sacrifice animal for some other god other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would have definitely said to him, what? No. Do you understand the second reason? That's the second reason. Third reason, why it's not permissible in Islam. When Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam came to Medina, he saw people celebrating something. He asked the Muslims what they are celebrating. And they said, Ya Rasulullah, they are celebrating some festival that they are celebrating. They are celebrating this festival for their forefathers. And they have been celebrating this festival for their forefathers for many, many, many years, for many centuries. They have been celebrating this. And they celebrate this festival to commemorate, to remember their forefathers. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the hadith words, you can find it in every book of a hadith, authentic narration. He said, Inna Allaha qad baddala lakuma khayrum minhu. He said, indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has replaced that which they are celebrating with something that is better. And that something is what? Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. These two celebrations, main celebrations. Other than that celebration, we have the celebration of Aqiqah. You have the celebration of Walima. A child memorizes a Quran, finishes a Quran, you slaughter an animal, have a party, you invite everyone, have a celebration. In addition to Eid al-Adha, Eid al-Fitr, every Jummah is a day of celebration. Every Friday is a day of celebration. Every Friday, you know this, every Friday is the Eid of the week. We don't celebrate it. We don't want to celebrate it. But it's the Eid of the... So in Islam, every week you have a party. Every week you have a celebration. Every week you have a reason to do something. So it's not only Eid al-Adha and Eid al-Fitr, Eid al-Adha, Eid al-Fitr, there are many more days that you can celebrate in Islam, but they have been sanctioned by whom? By me or by you? They have been sanctioned by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam. So we do not have any need. This religion does not have any need to borrow festivals from other people. You don't have other people to come to you to introduce their celebrations to you, and then you take them and you celebrate with them. It doesn't make any sense because you have your own celebrations and your calendar is already full. You don't find any other days to celebrate. This religion is in no need of more celebration. It's perfect, it's complete. It's so clear to tell you everything that you need to. It makes everything clear. Can you imagine? This deen even tells you how to relieve yourself when you go to the bathroom. When you go to the bathroom, how do you relieve? This religion can even tell you that. Shows you that. And subhanAllah, the bathroom in Islam, the toilet Islam, if you think about it, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us and taught us what direction should your toilet be facing. So this architect, this structure that you have in Islam, every time you are a house owner, you are a builder, you invite someone to your house to make a toilet in your house, he needs to consider what is the direction of Qibla. What is the direction? And then he is going to put the toilet in, he is going to fit in, making sure that you are not facing the direction of Qibla, to the front and to the back. You're sitting on the sides of the Qibla, either way. So you tell me, the deen that is so detailed, is that deen going to forget which celebrations are okay and which celebrations are not okay? Is that deen going to forget to tell you which celebrations you are allowed to celebrate and which celebrations are you not allowed to celebrate? It's up to you. You can decide, make your own decision, do whatever you want to do. Subhanallah. So Prophet made it very clear in that hadith that we have our own celebrations and we are going to celebrate our own celebration. But having said that, now I'm going to conclude inshallah. Having said that, please don't misunderstand me. It doesn't mean that tomorrow you go to your work and you can't even say to your co-worker, good morning, how are you? How are you feeling? May you have a successful life. May you have a successful life after your marriage. You know, if someone got married, your co-worker gets married, you give him a gift, you give him a card, you give him a dua. You know, if someone passes away in their family, you give your condolences to them. I'm sorry for the tragedy that happened to you. As for celebrating with them, going to church to celebrate a wedding, you can go to a reception and celebrate a wedding. But going to a church and celebrating a wedding, going to the funeral, and you cannot validate your excuse. If you have an excuse, for example, someone tells you to come and give a speech, eulogy, that's what they say in English, eulogy, give a eulogy, meaning a speech. If someone passes away and they tell you, and you go there and you talk about Tawheed and you tell everyone that this is the reality of life, everyone is going to, you're not talking about Prophet Muhammad, you're talking about Tawheed, that everyone is going to die and you're giving your da'wah, you validate your reasons, your presence to be there. But if you don't have any reason, you're going there just to be as a nice friend, just to look as a nice friend, just to show that you are very nice. No, it doesn't. Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when they conquered Baytul Maqdis, Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu went into a church. He has never seen a church. So he went into a church to see a church. And he's in a church and he's shaking his head. Because he could see all the statues and all the pictures and all the kufr and all the shirk, and he's shaking his head. And the azan went off in Palestine. In our Palestine. Azan went off. And Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu said to the priest that now I have to go, I have to offer my prayers. And the priest said to Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, why don't you offer your prayers here? This would be a more barakah in this case, there would be a more barakah in the church. I want you to pray your salah here. And I request you to pray your salah here. And what did Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu say? He said, I am afraid if I do this now, the people after me, they would think that it is permissible to pray salah in the church. They would think it's permissible to pray here. And I don't want to set that example. So don't get twisted. When I say it's not permissible to go and celebrate, to participate in it. But it doesn't mean that you cannot be a decent human being to your friends. You can be a decent. So these are my, yes, I understand that the cultural understanding of this celebration does not involve any kind of religiosity, but still to this day, go and Google it. Don't trust me. Do your own research. There are still some small groups of druids. There are still some small group of Satanists who celebrate this day as a holy day. Not holy day, not the H-O-L-I, holy day. They do. So what I can say, in my humble opinion, the opinion that I follow, this is not my opinion, but the opinion that I follow is that we should not encourage this celebration among our children, no matter how innocent it looks to other people. We should not. The least we can say is that it is makruh. If you don't want to say it haram, the least we can say that it is makruh. For a kid to go out disguising himself as a cartoon character or a ghost or whatever. But having said that, while we should discourage this among our children, someone comes to your house. There is a great benefit in showing good manners and good behavior to someone who comes to your house. Children come to your house wanting a candy or something. You don't want to give a candy, give them a mithai. Give them something else. But give them something. Treat them. I have seen the kids in my class, they were telling me, we don't open the doors. Don't do it like this. Giving them candy, giving them some kind of halawa, giving them some kind of sweet, it does not have a hint of shirk. It does not have a hint of commemorating or worshipping false gods. It doesn't. So giving them some kind of candy doesn't mean that you are celebrating Halloween. You should be good to your neighbors. This is the hukam of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You should be good to them. So be good to them. So this is the opinion that I follow. Hopefully I am able to convey it to you. Hopefully it makes more sense now. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant understanding. If you have any question, feel free to ask me.